A medieval family did not wonder what to eat when the first snow fell. By the time winter arrived, the decision had already been made months earlier. Survival depended on a system set in motion long before the cold appeared. In much of Europe between the 11th and 15th centuries, winter lasted 4 to 6 months. During that time, fields produced nothing, roads became unreliable, and hunger killed more people than war. The medieval meal prep system was not about comfort or flavor. It was a logistics operation designed to prevent starvation when fresh food dropped to nearly zero. Modern people often imagine medieval meals as crude or random. In reality, food planning followed strict seasonal logic. A household that failed to prepare by late autumn faced measurable risk. Historical records show grain shortages leading to mortality spikes of 10 to 20% in bad winters. The system that prevented this was not a single technique, but an interlocking structure of storage, preservation, rationing, and labor timing. The seasonal clock that ruled all food decisions. Medieval food systems ran on a rigid calendar. Spring was scarcity, summer was growth, autumn was capture, and winter was consumption. Every action in the growing season was shaped by the knowledge that winter would cut off supply entirely. There was no illusion of emergency replacement. If stored food ran out, the system failed. Harvest windows were narrow. Grain had to be cut, dried, threshed, and stored before autumn rains. Livestock had to be slaughtered before fodder ran out. Dairy production peaked in summer and declined sharply by late autumn. This created a predictable surplus, followed by an absolute stop. Medieval people built their entire food strategy around this certainty. Unlike modern systems that rely on continuous resupply, medieval households treated winter as a closed system. What entered storage in autumn was all that would exist until spring. This forced precision. Overconsumption early in winter meant starvation later. The system demanded discipline rather than abundance. Grain as the non-negotiable foundation. Grain was not preferred food. It was survival infrastructure. A medieval adult required roughly 2 pounds of grain per day to avoid caloric collapse. For a family of 5 over a 150-day winter, that meant over 1,500 pounds of grain stored before winter began. This calculation was not theoretical. Manorial records and tithe accounts show exact measurements tracked down to the bushel. Grain storage was engineered for longevity. Drying reduced moisture below spoilage thresholds. Storage vessels were elevated to prevent dampness and rodents. In colder regions, grain was stored in unheated spaces where low temperatures slowed mold growth. Loss rates still existed, often around 5 to 10%, and households planned for this loss in advance. Grain was not eaten freely, it was metered. Daily bread portions were smaller in winter than in harvest season. Grinding was done gradually to avoid spoilage. The system prioritized endurance, not satisfaction. Meat preservation as calorie insurance fresh meat was a liability in winter. Once animals were slaughtered in late autumn, preservation became urgent. Medieval people understood that meat represented dense calories that could prevent starvation when grain stores ran low. But without refrigeration, meat spoiled quickly unless transformed. The solution was mass preservation, not daily cooking. Animals were slaughtered in coordinated periods, often village-wide. Meat was cut, salted, dried, or smoked in bulk. This was labor-intensive but efficient. A single pig could provide hundreds of pounds of preserved calories if processed correctly. Importantly, preserved meat was not consumed early. It was reserve food. Many households relied primarily on grain early in winter and introduced meat later when stores began to thin and bodies weakened. This sequencing extended survival capacity. Dairy turned into time. Milk could not survive winter in liquid form. Medieval systems solved this by converting milk into products that represented stored time. Cheese and butter were not luxuries. They were preservation technologies. Hard cheeses produced in summer could last 6 months or more if kept cool and dry. Butter, clarified or salted, extended fat availability into winter. Fat was critical. It provided more than twice the calories per weight compared to grain. In winters of extreme cold, fat consumption increased because the body required more energy to maintain heat. The dairy system was synchronized with pasture cycles. When grass was abundant, milk was transformed. When pasture died, production stopped. This conversion ensured that summer abundance became winter endurance, vegetables that were chosen to die. Slowly, medieval vegetables were not chosen for taste or yield alone. They were selected for storage behavior. Root vegetables, cabbages, onions, and legumes dominated winter food because they decayed slowly in cold, dark conditions. Storage pits, cellars, and clamps kept vegetables alive but dormant. These spaces were engineered environments. Temperature stability mattered more than comfort. Vegetables were layered, insulated, and protected from air to slow decay. Losses still occurred, but even partial survival extended food availability by weeks or months. Importantly, vegetables were eaten earlier in winter than grain or meat reserves. They acted as buffers. Their gradual spoilage dictated consumption order. The system reduced pressure on core calorie stores. Labor compression and collective timing. The medieval meal prep system required intense labor over short periods. Harvest, slaughter, preservation, and storage occurred in compressed windows. This was not inefficient. It minimized exposure to spoilage and weather risk. Communities coordinated these efforts. Shared ovens, mills, and smokehouses reduced individual burden. Labor was collective because failure by one household could destabilize others through dependency or theft. Survival was not isolated. Once winter arrived, labor dropped sharply. Energy conservation became part of the food system. Less movement meant fewer calories burned. Medieval winter life was intentionally slower because food systems demanded it. Rationing is a moral and practical rule. Rationing was not optional. It was enforced by necessity and often by custom. Many households followed fixed daily allowances during winter. These were not written menus, but understood limits. Breaking ration norms early in winter was dangerous. Historical famine accounts frequently describe households that consumed reserves too quickly and collapsed before spring. Survival favored restraint. This contrasts sharply with modern systems built on immediate availability. Medieval systems assumed delay, scarcity, and failure as normal conditions. Rationing was a skill, not a punishment. Medieval people did not eliminate hunger. They managed it. Mild hunger was a signal that the system was functioning. Severe hunger meant miscalculation. This is uncomfortable to modern sensibilities, but it reflects realism. The system aimed to avoid death, not discomfort. Winter hunger was expected, measured, and endured. This expectation shaped behavior and decision-making long before winter began. Why this system worked for centuries? The medieval meal prep system endured because it matched reality. It accepted environmental limits and worked within them. It did not rely on constant inputs or emergency fixes. It assumed long periods of nothing. Modern food systems, by contrast, rely on continuous flow. When flow breaks, failure is immediate. Medieval systems assumed breaks and designed around them. This does not mean medieval life was easy. It means it was structured. Survival was engineered through foresight, coordination, and restraint. The quiet intelligence behind medieval survival. There was nothing primitive about this system. It required numerical planning, environmental awareness, and social discipline. Medieval people did not survive winter by chance. They survived because they built systems that respected scarcity. The medieval meal prep system was not a collection of recipes. It was a strategy for turning short-term abundance into long-term survival. In a world without safety nets, that strategy meant the difference between life and death. Understanding this system challenges the modern assumption that progress means invulnerability. Medieval people knew winter was coming. They prepared accordingly. If this video changed how you see the past, consider what it says about the present. Our world feels abundant, but many modern systems fail the moment continuity breaks. Medieval people built food systems that assumed scarcity and survived it for centuries.